Hi, and welcome to Fit, Fabulous, and Over 50. I'm your host, Renee Miller. The goal of this show is to teach you how to become fit in the privacy and comfort of your own home. You will learn both functional and practical exercises designed to tone your muscles and get your heart rate up, get you moving. Now listen, if you've never exercised before, you do need to consult with a physician. Otherwise, let's get started. Let's stretch. How many times do we work on our muscles and we talk about how strong we need to be, and we overtrain our muscles, especially some of them, without proper stretching? Many people think stretching is like an option, something you do when there's nothing else to do or you don't feel like doing anything else. But stretching, my friends, is not an option at all. In fact, stretching is a very important component of working out. Now, to give you an example of how we stretch from the time we're born until the time we die, let me give you an example. When you are born, you're born in flexion. You're in a little round ball called a fetal position. And all of the muscles that are working are called muscle flexors or flexor muscles. When we walk, when we learn to walk, when we learn to stand, we begin by stretching those flexor muscles and building up our extensor muscles. And now, often we think of the flexor muscles as the ones in the front and the extensor muscles as and the ones in the back. But actually, there's a combination in the front and the back. Today, we're going to go to the muscle chart and look at the chart, and we're going to examine the difference between the flexors and extensors. We're going to key in on stretching many of the flexors. Come on, let's look at the chart. Now, flexor muscles are starting from the top, your pectoralis. Those create lots of forward and inward flexion. Your abdominals, believe it or not, which also create lots of forward and inward flexion. Your hip flexors, right there where the hip and thigh meet, very, very large flexors. In fact, these flexors can become so overly tight that they can change your posture. And then going to the back of the chart, just to show you the difference, the flexors in the back would be the hamstrings because they would flex your knee. And the rest of them in the back are primarily extensor muscles. The trapezius extends the neck. The erector spinae extends the back. And then the gastrocnemius is also a flexor muscle too. Going back over to the anterior portion of the chart, the quadriceps is also primarily an extensor, although it acts in both directions. All right? So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be stretching all over the body, but we're going to be primarily trying to stretch those muscles that are the tightest. All right, you ready? All you need today is a little bit of space on your floor. Get a little space, move the furniture back, and we're going to breathe in. Start with your feet hip distance apart. Knees are lifted up, and we're going to sweep up. Here we go. Breathe in. And exhale down. And do it again. Sweeping up and down. And one more time. This time the fingers come together. The head drops. The eyes look down at the floor. And you're going to lift through the spine. Lift as tall as you can. Keep on lifting. Lift up off of the left rib cage. Think about that rib cage getting higher and away from the hip, and go over and back to center. And go the other way. Lift high and go over. Reach as far as you can. Come back to center. Drop the arms and roll the shoulders back and back. Now listen. What I want you to do when you do this is to keep your glutes tight, your abdominals lifted up, and roll those shoulders back and open up the chest. Good. Just do 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. And let's just sway. Good. You keep going. Do it again. Nice and easy. That's it. And march it out. We're getting a little warm. That's what we're doing right here. We want to get your heart rate up just a little bit more than what we would do at rest. Keep it going. Now we're going to rock forwards and backwards, forwards and backwards. Just rock. When you rock, press your front heel into the floor. 3, 2, and switch. Ready? Good. Let that heel go forward. Keep it going. Flow through the music. 4, 3, 2, and 1, and reach up and down. Come on, stretch that spine as tall as you can. Get taller. I don't know anyone that couldn't be taller. And down. Good. All right, today we're going to start standing nice and tall, hips apart, and we're going to stretch your spine. And we're just going to roll down, pulling up in the abdominals. The hips are going to go up, and you're just going to hang. Almost straightening the knees. Let the body hang and feel the stretch in the extensor muscles. And allow the backs of the legs to lengthen. Get those hamstrings stretched. Let the back and the spine lengthen all the way from the coccyx to the head, stretching long. Now bend the knees and roll up. Good. One more time. Bend everything, so we are in flexion here. We're going down, and then the hips come up. The tailbone goes higher and long. Feel the stretch. Backs of the thighs working. If you say, I can't get there, that's okay. Go as far as you can. Bend your knees and roll up. Good. Sweeping your arm up over your head now. Think about your right rib cage or your right rib cage going up, your hips staying down as you go over. Eyes going over the shoulder. And we just want to open up the body right now. And the other way. Sweep up and over. Pull up off that hip. Lift as high as you can. And if you do it well, you should feel the stretch all the way down into the hip. Good. And relax. All right, now, I want you to bring your hands behind you, fingers down, feet apart, and stretch back. This is a flexor stretch for your chest, your pectoralis muscles. Keep it going. Here it is from the back. Shoulder blades are squeezing together. Open that chest. Make sure when you do this that you can feel those shoulders rolling back as opposed to the shoulders staying forward like this. You've got to get unflexed and really stretch it out. Work the abdominals by pulling up and breathe. And again, one more time. Fingers together. Drop the shoulders, the hands reaching back. Can you go farther this time? Really stretching it out. See what it feels like for you. You must breathe through the stretch. And relax. Good. All right. Now to deepen, we're going to start to work towards stretching the hip flexors. These big guys where we said how tight they can get. But what we're going to do is start with a big V. All right. Don't go so wide you feel unsteady. Get a nice strong base under yourself. And for right now, we're going to start with a little inner thigh stretch. And then we're going to change the shape of the movement. You want your hips to go out, your knee to be lined up right over your toe. Your chest stays high. Don't drop the chest. Keep the chest lifted, all right? And you just want to stretch through, and we're going to stretch that inner thigh muscle, which also happens to be a tight muscle. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Take a deep breath in. See if you can go a little farther. Exhale. Go a little farther. Breathing. Now, come back up, knees are bent. You're going to turn onto the right leg, drop the back heel. Feet should be parallel and open as far as the hips. So let me show you from the front. You don't want to look like you're on a tightrope. You want to open up so your heel, your knee, and your hip are all lined up. Press the back heel down, showing you from the side. The back heel has to go down. This is first a stretch for the gastrocnemius, which is also a flexor, the back of the calf. Hands here, lots of support. Abdominals tight. The breathing is the essential part. Lean into the stretch. Now, come back a little bit, pull the knee under the hip, and we're going to begin to catch on to that hip flexor. Right here, lots of exercise, lots of pushing. Squeeze the buns, let the hips go forward. Do not allow there to be a break in those hips. You should have a straight line between your hip and the best you can your knee. Hands on the front knee, drop down. If you need a chair, grab a chair. Push forward here. Open the body. Now bring your arms behind you and stretch, opening the body. Hands back. Breathing, come back and stand tall. Good. Lunging to the side. Again, moving through the inner thigh stretch. You're going to feel that on the inner thighs. Breathing, hands supported, knees lined up over the toes. Friends, if you're not already feeling your heart rate up a little bit, you will be, because when you stretch, you are actually working the opposite muscle group. So the muscles that are stretching are lengthening, but the muscles on the opposite side, called the antagonist muscles, are being toned and strengthened. Deeper. Pivot. Left leg is front. Make sure the hips and knees are lined up. Lunge forward, stretching the gastrocnemius. Weight on the front. Keep the back heel down. Don't allow that back heel to come off the floor. Nice and tight. Use the muscles of the core, the abdominals, the back, and the glutes. Lunge forward. Good. Come back up. This time the knee goes under the hip. Pull the knee forward, nice and tall. Hip stays flat. No bend. Flat hip. Drop the knee down. Squeeze the hiney. Squeeze that tush. Open, open. Stretch. Good. Good. And back. Take a deep breath up. And down. Were you holding your breath during that, or did you breathe? And down. And one more. Breathing. And down. Good job. Now, we're going to do some stretches on the floor. You ready? Sit down. Now, if you're not very flexible, this is going to be probably an impossible position. If you're not very flexible, don't feel like you have to sit up tall. Just relax the body, let one leg be your support system, and stretch the other one forward, okay? That's good. All right, so let's just start out with a little bit of a light back stretch and a light hamstring stretch by walking your fingers out towards your toes. Now you may say, I can't get that far. Don't worry about it. You go as far as you can. Take a deep breath in. Exhale. Go a little farther. Hold the stretch. Think about the abdominals still working. Don't let go of the abdominals. Good. And come back and switch sides. Sit up nice and tall. If this is hard for you, sit against a wall, okay? Because that's also very supportive. Walk your fingers out. Go as far as you can. Breathing. Exhale. Go over. Hold. Now, if you have one side tighter than the other, that's okay. Don't worry about it. And back. All right, now we're going to do a really important stretch for your rotators, okay? And this is a stretch a little veering off of the subject of flexion and extension. But if you're driving, you need to be able to rotate well, and this is a great stretch for that. This is also a great stretch for those of you with low back pain. What you're going to do is sit up tall. You're going to cross your right leg over your left knee, and you're going to hug your right leg. Give your right knee a big hug. Now, you're going to do this hug, and you're going to begin to turn yourself away from the knee and look behind you without changing the rest of your body shape. Keep breathing. And return. And do it again. This time, switching sides. Hug the left knee. Now, when you do this, keep the hips lined up and sit nice and tall. Slowly, slowly go around as far as you can. Pull that knee to the chest. You should feel this stretch in the gluteus maximus and in the hip. And return. All right, shake it out a little bit. Let's go down to the floor. What we're going to do now is stretch the backs of your thighs, those big flexors of the knees, and those are called hamstrings. What we're going to do is start by reaching for the back of the calf and lift the leg up. Now, if you cannot get it this far up, friends, keeping the opposite leg bent, then get a kitchen towel or a towel from your closet and put it around behind the leg, and you can work by pulling in so you can get more of a stretch for this. If you're more flexible like me, allow the leg and gravity to slowly, slowly, slowly increase the stretch. Breathe. Press the heel gently away. Back off a little bit. Press the heel away. Now let's add a little bit of something special. Bend the knee and see if you can go a little farther. And come back. All right, let's try the other leg. Knee and straighten. Just relax. One of the most important things to know about stretching is that you should relax while you're doing it. Most of us think that we should get so flexible before our ability that we are unable to continue the stretch because it's so painful. If it's painful, back off. Good. Let's back a little bit. Press the heel away. Now bend the knee and stretch a little bit farther. Good. Excellent. Now you know you have something called the stretch reflex. And the stretch reflex is a message that's sent to the brain that tells you stop stretching any farther because you've stretched so far and the muscle is saying it can't do any more without hurting itself. There's something called the stretch response, that if you continue to stretch, you will get something called the stretch response, and you're going to be able to go even farther. This is a variation of what I just did. If you're so flexible you didn't feel the stretch in the hamstring, or you think you can keep your legs straight down, then go ahead and do that, all right? And you're going to get a stretch in the opposite hip. Take a breath. And just allow gravity to work it. And switch. Lengthen the leg. And breathe. And go. Keep going. You can do it. Keep on breathing. Remember, the great thing about this is while you're stretching one side, you are working the muscles on the other side. And recover. Now, while we're down here, we're going to do a big stretch for your back, and you're going to pull your knees into your chest. And what you want to do here, friends, is just pull your knees in as far as you can. If you want to, you can lift your head. Good. And down. And just the knees pulling in. Feel the stretch in the low back. Good. And one more stretch. And I'll start this one, arms out to the side, and this is a cross-legged stretch on the floor. You're going to bring the left knee across the right, keep the left shoulder down, go just as far as you can. And you keep on stretching, friends. And while you are, let's see what you can do elsewhere in your house to get fit.
Space. You've got to love it, especially if you have extra space where you live. A great exercise you can do with a little bit of extra space are lunges. Stand with your feet hip distance apart, hands on the hips, nice and tall with the sternum lifted up and the shoulders down. Step out and drop the knee down just a little ways, maybe 6 to 8 inches down. Push off and return to the starting position. Repeat with the opposite leg and drop down and push off and back. Now, you can do these as a resistance exercise, or you can do these and really get your heart rate up by moving quickly from side to side. Don't go too deep. You definitely don't want to drop your back knee to the floor. Keep those abdominals tight. Think about tightening the glutes a little bit. Push off the floor. Replace the leg back to the starting position every single time. Woo, you can get your heart rate up. What a great thing to do if you have a little bit of space.
Guess what? I have the fountain of youth for you. It's called water. That's right. Drinking lots of water will increase your youthful appearance. It will change your skin texture, help you reduce blemishes. It processes waste more effectively and efficiently. You know that C word, if you're constipated, how much water are you drinking? And do you know what else it will do? It will effectively help you reduce your weight. That's right. Drinking at least 64 fluid ounces of water a day could be a magic potion in the right direction for you.
Another great use of space. Some yoga to build some muscles and relieve some stress. Let's go through a little bit of salutation of the sun. Stand with your feet hip distance apart, shoulders relaxed and down. Really tighten up those glutes and those quadriceps. Pull your knees up and take a deep breath in. Reaching up, arms go up and overhead, palms come together. And you're going to open the body, flatten the back and go down. Now, dropping first over, and then we're going to walk your hands out into a downward dog position. The heels deepen into the floor. The chest presses through the arms. Hands come in and under the shoulders. Lower yourself down to hover and up. Open that chest. Ah, that feels good. And back down, come up, back into downward dog. Walk your hands in and roll up. Breathe, stand tall, and recover. Another great use of some space.
Welcome back. Did you get some good ideas? Now let's finish the stretch we started before the break. Laying back down, rolling down with your abdominals working, arms out to the side. This is the cross-legged stretch in the opposite direction. Friends, I am telling you, if you have a back problem, this could be a life-changing stretch for you. Breathe deeply. Hold the stretch. Try to keep the right shoulder down as you cross the right leg. Try to keep the right shoulder down. Good. And come back. Now listen, while you're down here, let's talk about one thing. When you stretch on the floor, and if you cannot stretch on the floor, use your bed. To get up, always roll over on the side and then sit up, okay? Now, let's finish. We're going to do a little bit more for your lower body, and we're going to work those muscles deep in your hips in some flexors and rotators. So just sit nice cross-legged, and you're going to go out over the leg and just allow the body to fall forward. Breathe deeply. Relax. Concentrate on your breathing so you're not concentrating on what bothers you, what hurts. And roll up. And switch. Sit up nice and tall. And go back over. Breathe. And roll up. Good. Sitting up nice and tall. Now, again, if you're uncomfortable sitting on the floor, this is a fine time to move to a chair, okay? The rest of these stretches, we're going to be working again in the muscles that get shorter and shorter as we age along the rib cage, the intercostal muscles, and also we're going to work on lifting those muscles up. Let's just sit comfortably. I'm just going to sit with one leg out, one leg bent, sit up nice and tall. And you're going to bring one arm out, keep the other palm on the floor, lift over to the side. Think about that rib coming away from the hip. The hip stays down. Don't let the butt come off the floor. Now bend the arm and press the elbow up. Reach and down. Let's switch sides and lift. Don't let the butt come off the floor. Reach up. Drop the hand, bend the elbow, and lift. Open. And relax. Good. Listen. Great posture stretch. Hands to the side. Now, from the side, watch. Slowly walk your hands behind you, opening the chest so your shoulders are rolling back. Looks funny. It's a great stretch. Think about the back muscles working. And we're going to sweep forward. And one more time behind you. Breathing. Now, just drop the neck, ear, rolling down, other ear. And thank you so much for joining me today on Fit, Fabulous, and Over 50. See you next time.